Good evening and Assalamu alaikum to all dear friends. Thanks for the feedback of past many hours. We all learn from each other, you see, in uh, debates, discussions, uh, lecturing campaigns, newspaper articles, research articles, research journals of international repute. All these sources are uh, conducive towards enhancement of knowledge. So, in a beautiful federation of Pakistan, uh, everybody is raising concern regarding recent Supreme Court decision. And before going into details of before going into details of paragraph 66 of Supreme Court word regarding fate of ex-President General Pervez Musharraf, I must uh, define something before all my friends. That is a delicate link between right of life and self-defense. So the whole uh, episode of General Pervez Musharraf, the way he took power and the way he was compelled to do all that, uh, focal point of all that episode is right of life and right to defend one's own self. He was attacked by elected Prime Minister of Pakistan, who was in bad habit of uh, uh, being at loggerheads with Pakistan Army. In his era, one chief of the army staff, General Janjua, was mm, mysteriously died here in Kohat. Some people say he had a heart attack, and others they say that he was poisoned. Then two other chief of the army staffs were thrown out of job by the same disqualified prime minister. And this General Pervez Musharraf, as chief of the army staff, was compelled to remain in the air for 1 long hour in plane, and his plane was not allowed to come down and to land on Karachi airport. So you see, the whole episode was started from there. The general uh, had exercised his right to defend himself, and he was in the air when his friends started opening gates for him of the airport, and then they had taken over power for him. So, as I said earlier, that his case is a unique case. judges of Supreme Court, the appeal is going to be there, and judges of Supreme Court are supposed to come up with fresh judgment. I mean, there is no such precedent available in law. No such thing was happened before that incident in which elected Prime Minister of Pakistan had tried to stop uh, the plane of Chief of the Army Staff, General Pervez Musharraf, and from there, General and his friends in army had started exercising uh, the right of self-defense to uh, defend their lives. They also have a right of life. And no prime minister is having any power uh, uh, which paves the way for killing of chief of the army staff or justifying it. Prime minister is having all his own constitutional limits, and that prime minister disqualified and termed as mafia chief and is now away from Pakistan, though he was convicted here. But while presenting, after presenting medical certificate, he had got permission to leave Pakistan for treatment in England. So, whatever General did after that attempt on his life, that shall be considered uh, in continuity. I mean, you cannot come up with specific issue against him while making decision about him. See his position that he was attacked prior to him. Uh, two generals were ousted from job by the same prime minister, and one was mysteriously killed. So see the situation. If you are a judge, and see the situation which is new, entirely new. So in legal history, you have to contribute something new. You have to come up with fresh judgment. There is no precedent. You cannot repeat any previous judgment regarding case of General Pervez Musharraf. So that is what my standpoint about him is that uh, obviously he was attacked and then he had responded to save his life and lives of his fellow officers and soldiers because elected prime minister was somehow allergic with Pakistan army. As prime minister of Pakistan, he was allergic with Pakistan army people. So I think judges will look into it, and um, the recent decision of the tribunal of three judges regarding uh, death penalty for General Pervez Musharraf. The judges were divided. One judge says that he's innocent, and two judges they say that he was guilty. General Musharraf was guilty. Two judges, and one judge among them has crossed every limit. I mean, in Pakistan, uh, for certain offences, that death penalty is there, but nowhere in the law books it is mentioned that convicted uh, criminal can be dragged and shall be hanged in Chowk for 3 days in Islamabad. Uh, Law books does not provide for any such decision. There is no such precedent and there is no provision in existing laws regarding it. So that one judge is having some radical approach. It seems that there is some personal grudge, and he's against General Musharraf to the extent that he wants that dead body of General Musharraf to be dragged and to be hanged there in the chalk for the square of Islamabad for 3 days. So that judge has crossed the limits, legal limits, his own legal limits, and does not sound very fair. So that right of appeal is there before General Pervez Musharraf, retired General Pervez Musharraf, and he's there in Dubai, away from the beautiful Federation of Pakistan. He's at a distance from all of us, and I hope sanity will prevail. I mean, I never expected that radicalization is there in the whole of subcontinent. BJP, ruling party of India, is being radicalized. They are promoting their agenda of Hinduita and are passing laws banning uh, right of citizenship for Muslims and Jews in India. And they are doing things which are really I mean, unconstitutional, and that shall be handled with judicial review through Supreme Court of India. The sooner is the better. Some six people challenged that law, new law called CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. So it is common in developed or governments are there on the issue. Though freedom of expression is being guaranteed to all in Constitution of Pakistan and India as well. So through informal means, in absence of full-fledged exercise of freedom of expression by all, through informal means, knowledge cannot be spread. So that's why people they sometimes behave in ignorant manner while sitting on very high positions. Uh, this is, I mean, ironic that a judge of a tribunal says that convict General Musharraf shall be dragged, his dead body shall be dragged and shall be hanged in D Chowk in D Square for 3 days. No law permits that. This practice cannot be done here in Pakistan. And some people are of the view that that judge shall be impeached through Supreme Judicial Council for his radical views. Well, uh, uh, I always say this that Supreme Judicial Council is comprised of judges. All the lawyers, they are members of Supreme Judicial Council, and it is really not very fair that only uh, people affiliated with legal profession can impeach with their fellow lawyers and judges. So we also need some uh, better way of impeachment, impeachment in Senate, as it is there in mother of all federations. The impeachment process that starts from the lower house of the parliament, from Congress, and then final touches to it are given in upper house, Senate, where Chief Justice of Supreme Court presides the session, and finally the votes are being taken after thorough debate and discussion regarding the person uh, impeached. So we have to learn too much, and we cannot do that while uh, putting curves on freedom of expression. And I think situation will be normal soon in subcontinent. Uh, Radical element in India, Hindu radicals, they are in minority, but they are organized and armed. So majority of normal Hindus, they are afraid of them, and they have a license to kill. They had killed founding father of India, Mahatma Gandhi, BJP partner, that RSS, extremist Hindu organization. They are Mahatma Gandhi. He was the leader of India, founding father of India, and then too many killings are there on record in India done by RSS. And never ever any RSS guy was stopped by any government agency from killing anyone. Even the murderer of Gandhi was put on trial after he committed his murder and then was hanged finally, but no one has ever stopped him. Most recent murder of RSS there was of uh, female journalist Gauri Lankesh in Karnataka, and nobody had stopped killers of RSS because in Karnataka BJP rule is there. So they came and they killed. And some of the people are arrested, but I don't know. I haven't followed that case. That is, all these things are happening in India, and me, I am here in Pakistan, which is my homeland. So it is really difficult for me to follow whether are in prison or are, have received any sentence, they have received any sentence or not. So these are realities of life here, and everything moves through emotion here in subcontinent. In Pakistan, situation is a bit better. Our people are not that emotional, and some reasoning, some debates, some discussions paved the way for some sort of consensus on every issue here. And we all agree that General Saab, General Pervez Musharraf must go for appeal against the verdict of special tribunal, and everyone is almost sure here that he um, be declared innocent because it was him who was attacked, and then in response, when you act in self-defense to defend your right of life, then whatever steps you take, you're justified because if elected prime minister is crossing constitutional limits and is acting like a professional killer or a king who can order killing of anyone. So then, you see, uh, in brief, in General Musharraf case, we are having a person who is at wrong but is not penalized by anyone. And even he was never being called to any court of law during all hearings against General Musharraf. So my point of view is that Supreme Court has to come up with a fresh judgment because it's a unique case, no precedents are there, and that judgment shall be based on justice. And we all shall have keep that in mind that once a person is being attacked and he is trying to defend himself, then whatever steps he takes, he is justified in doing that till he feels secure. And once he is secure, then he is not supposed to commit further to commit any violation. But you see, that trauma is so such a big trauma that you are being attacked, your colleagues are being killed and attacked, and you have served this country, and then there is a person who is attacking you as Prime Minister of Pakistan, and nobody is there to check him. So, and there is always lurking danger that his mindset is not confined to him. There are others who are of his type. So even if you became martial law administrator or president of Pakistan after that attempt on your life, even then you are at defensive and you are worried about your own security because that mindset uh, still prevails. So whatever actions I think General Musharraf has taken, he was justified because he was attacked. His colleagues were attacked in the army. Previous generals were attacked. One had lost his life. So it's a national security issue, you see, and we have to discuss this, and we have to evolve consensus, and we have to discuss its all dimensions in detail, and we must uh, understand have to grant right of life to each other. We must have a consensus here in society, and political entities they shall also grant right of life to each other, rather all the fundamental rights which are written in Constitution, and by this way we can move forward. And anything less than that means quagmire. I wish all the best to all of you and good luck as well.